Hi everybody and welcome back to the Twin Spires Triple Crown vidcast. My name's Peter Thomas Fornatale and I'm here this week to talk about the Peter Pan from Belmont. And I'm going to talk about the first two finishers in this race, and they are Adios Charlie and Alternation. They start off in very different places here. Adios Charlie breaks rather well and will be settling down just off the pace. Alternation broke a hair slowly, really just mid-pack, but you'll see him here settle into a nice spot back down at the rail. Alternation's an interesting horse. He was supposed to run in the Rebel 2 races back, and he wound up flipping in the gate, and he had to be scratched. I was a little skeptical about his chances in the Arkansas Derby, where he ran sort of an inconclusive race. He certainly made a move late in there. Here he is moving nicely. Made a late move in the Arkansas Derby, but I attributed the late run he made a little bit to the fact that that race kind of fell apart a bit, and it was a big closer's day. So for me, he had something to prove here, though the crowd was smarter than me, and they really bet him. You can see when he starts his move, just for a second, he has to idle here, and then he finds a seam and makes a really nice wide, sustained move on the outside. Not exactly the quickening we saw from Animal Kingdom in the Kentucky Derby, but a very nice professional move from who clearly is an improving 3-year-old. Meanwhile, up top, Adios Charlie is on this pace, which, while to me visually while watching seemed slow, according to the flow and bias data that I used, was actually, if anything, a little bit tilted towards the closers. So he probably runs a pretty nice race being up and on that pace the whole time. Here in the stretch, we see our two protagonists. You'll notice Adios Charlie starts drifting. He's in about the 3 path here. I think he's going to end up in about the 4 or 5 path. Now, is this a case of a horse who's by Indian Charlie, getting tired at the end of 1 1/8? Or does Rajiv Mirage want to put him head-and-head with Alternation to see if he can get him to re-break a little bit? It's hard to know the answer. And what you think of that question really plays into what you might decide to do with the horse next time. As for me, I'm going to evaluate these horses based on where they show up next time. Alternation as this slowly improving 3-year-old, big horse. A lot of things that suggest to me that they want to take their time with him. Go what you might call the blame route as a 3-year-old. Wait for him to tell them, I want to run in Grade 1 races, as opposed to hot-shotting him into a Grade 1. So if he were to show up in the Belmont, I might take a stand against behind that logic. If they were to go slowly with him and he were to show up somewhere else, I'm going to take an extra look. Adios Charlie, in a weird way, it's kind of the same thing. I'm still not 100% sure how he's going to be at the farther distances that he might be asked to run next. And if he shows up in a softer spot like the Jim Dandy, I'm going to be a lot more inclined to take a shot with him than if he were to show up in, say, the Haskell. So those are my thoughts on the Peter Pan. I'm Peter Thomas Fornatale for TwinSpires.com.